Hey guys, welcome back to Ox Tools. I'm Tom. So this is the first Meatloaf of 2015, and thanks to all the viewers out there and people that support what we're all doing here on this metalworking YouTube community. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this stuff. If there was nobody watching, we wouldn't be doing it. We just do it for ourselves. So thanks to everybody that subscribes and watches and shares this stuff all over the world. Still amazes the heck out of me. So I think this is number 64, which is farther than I thought it would go. And a lot of guys still like the mixed content where we look at a bunch of varied items. And this one's no different. We got a few things to look at. So I got some cool viewer appreciation gifts over the holidays, and we'll take a look at those. A couple of viewers asked about a couple of things, so we're going to dive into that a little bit, and we'll take a look at a couple of items and that they were curious about or commented about. Got a couple of books of interest now, and that you guys will get a kick out of. And made a little purchase off Craigslist of some tools and some other things. So let's pop over to the little table, and we'll take a look at the whole group, and then we'll kind of zoom in and check out some of this stuff in detail. Okay, so here's some of the stuff we're gonna take a look at here. And some of it's Craigslist, some viewer appreciation, and a little flea market find. So let's get into it. Actually, I'm kind of hungry, so let's start with this one here. And I'll zoom in on some of these things so you guys can see them up close. This comes to us from Chuck Van Atta, and he has a YouTube channel, Knolltop Farms. And we'll put a link up on the screen there. Anyway, Chuck, he got all interested in making some beef jerky. He saw all the beef jerky going around, and has his own kind of Hawaiian recipe, which is a more teriyaki-based one. Anyway, the bag was full. Key word there was. And we've been snacking on this in the shop since it showed up. Chuck, thank you very much. That was great. If you guys haven't visited Chuck's channel, go check it out. Throw a comment up there for Chuck. Now this one here, this is kind of a weird deal here. Chuck's working on an idea, and it has to do with kind of jewelry making stuff. Anyway, he's potted some chips in resin and to make kind of art objects. Anyway, like I said, I'll zoom in on that, and you guys can take a look at it. So my only comment on this right now is, Chuck, you know, I noticed you used Adam's chips in this one. Those aren't my chips; those aren't the ones that I sent you. So I'm a little disappointed that you sent me this one with Adam's chips in it. And you know, I can tell the difference, okay? So anyway, we'll zoom in on that and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so the next one is kind of interesting. This comes to us from Roger Taylor, and he's in San Marcos, California. And Roger is he's a retired metal shop teacher. So he horses around in the shop and makes stuff. Well, he sent me this, which is this giant bevel. It's an aluminum bevel, and I guess he does some. What is it? Does he do boat building or something? He does metal work on sport fishing boats, and so apparently he finds good use for these large sliding bevels like this. Anyway. It's nicely made, Roger. Thank you very much. This is cool, and you'll see it up on the wall. We'll hang it up on the wall, and if oops, unlock that. And all right, what's going on here? Oh, okay. we'll hang that up on the wall in a place of honor. So giant aluminum bevel square. So thanks a lot, Roger. Appreciate that. Okay, so this next one here, let's get this out of the way here. This is a Craigslist buy here, and there was a guy on Craigslist that's had a job shop, and then he's closed it down and is now closing down his hobby shop. So I don't quite understand that, but he says he's going to find a new hobby. So okay. Anyway, he's selling off all his stuff, and I saw the Craigslist ad, so I went out and visited him and bought a few things from him. Mainly the books is what I went for, but there were some inserts. These are inserts that I can use. These are CNMG or CCGTs and CCMTs, these kind of 80-degree diamonds. I use those. And then here's this is a solid carbide boring bar that's actually seen better days. It got snapped off or something, but it's actually still good, and it uses is that a V? Yeah, I think that's a V type insert there. This 55-degree diamond. Yeah, it's not a W. It must be a V. Anyway, and I don't have one like that, and it's a screw down insert too, so you can use positive geometry inserts in there, and this reaches back into little areas, or you can profile with it too. So anyway, solid carbide, which is nice and rigid, and you know, it was a good price. So I'll tell you what I paid for the whole lot here in a minute. And then a little package of 90-degree. Are these 90s? Yeah, 90-degree spotting drills, 3/8 diameter, about 10 millimeter. Brand new in the package. These are Wiedewag, made in Sweden. Okay, and we got some other stuff here from Sweden. And anyway, spotting drills are always nice. And then we get to the books. So this one here. This is probably the most boring technical book on the face of the planet, and but it's a necessary part of what we do, is understanding geometric tolerancing and all that. And you need a book to decipher some of these things. It's I call it the Swiss Army knife of tolerancing systems. It does a really good job if you use it properly, but the problem is that most people don't use it properly, and they end up confusing the issues more than they help them. So take a class, learn how to use this stuff, and otherwise leave it off your drawings. Okay, if you don't know how to apply it, just leave it off your drawings. Okay, that's all. That's the best advice I have. Anyway, this is the actual ANSI standard book, although it's an older one. This book's $300 new, I think, the current version. So even an old version is useful. Okay, and then these guys here, these are machining data handbooks, and this has every. And once again, I'll zoom in on some of this. This has or not every single, but hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of types of materials. And all the various operations: reaming, drilling, milling, slotting, broaching, yada yada yada, etc. It gives recommended tool geometry, tool materials, and cutting speeds and feeds. So I don't have a set of these, so I saw those up on his shelf there, and I said, hey, what about those? And anyway, this guy Bob, he let them go to me, and there's 2 volumes here, and I got those guys, and that's kind of neat. Like I said, I'll zoom in on that. And then the last one is, it's just it's a college machine tool technology book, and I flagged a few things in here, and we'll take a quick look at them in a second when we zoom in on some of this stuff. Okay, so this is something that got at the flea market. Actually, Mrs. Ox found this. And so now there's a wife for you, okay? She says, oh, hey, I found something for you. I hope you like it. I'm like, oh, okay. So she drops it in my hand and I get this. And I'm like, wow, I don't have one of those. This is good score, honey. And what it is at first glance it looks like an Acme threading gauge. But what it is it's a Brown and Sharp worm threading gauge, okay, which is a little bit different. It's still a 29-degree included angle, but the tool, the depth of the thread is considerably deeper on a worm thread as opposed to an Acme thread. So the angle's the same, but the depth is different. And I really kind of like this one. It's round. My other Starrett Acme is a rectangular gauge. Anyway, this is a Brown and Sharp number 720, and it goes from 10 threads per inch up to 2 threads per inch, which is a pretty hefty worm. And what's really cool is we're going to be using this to make a tool sometime in the future for the etching press, and we're going to be somewhere in this range here. For between 5 and 3 threads per inch, something like that. Haven't done the math on the project yet. But anyway, that's my wife got me that. She said it was less than $5, so I think that was a really good buy. Anyway, thanks, honey. All right, so I showed this planer gauge the other day on camera, the paint job in here, and actually got several requests and responses about how you use a planer gauge and what you can use it for. It's basically kind of like an adjustable parallel, and it's used for setting distances and spaces parallel to another surface. You can set tool heights and or sign bars, or you can do layout with it. And it can be used in several different attitudes here to get actually a pretty large range of measurements. So I think the smallest is that all the way to the ground, right, or the floor, which is it's around 1/4 inch, okay, 6 millimeters, and then the tallest would be with the extension bar on it, this guy here, like so, and then run up something like that. And what do we have there? I don't know, that's almost 10 inches or something like that. So that's 220 millimeters, 8 5/8 inches. I could probably go a little higher. So 9 inches. And I think, there's no limit to how many of these you can put on. And then also, depending on your machine configuration. Now, keep in mind, these were for setting single point planing tools. That's why it's called a planer gauge. So the tool will be sitting here, and you want to set a measurement off of some datum, right? So you can let me get in the range here. You can set it with a micrometer like so, okay? All right. You can set it with a micrometer, and then take this over to the machine and now reference your tool to that, and it's a known distance off of the surface, right? Or like so, and so on. Now the other way they're used, which is let's see, let me get that out of the way, is they're used with a now there's two types. There's two basic types. There's the basic one, and which is what this one is, and then there's what's called a master planer gauge. And those are distinguished. Typically, they have a fine adjust, so you can creep this very precisely. Okay, and they also come with some scribing accessories that mount up to these holes. Okay. Now this one here has a kind of a homemade scriber here that can bolt on or screw on with this little screw here. You can put it here if you want, although that's for kind of low stuff. And now you can mount it sideways too, like that. And you can set it with, you can actually set them very precisely with gauge blocks, like so. Okay. And stacks of gauge blocks, you can use a height master to set them also, if you got a bunch of dimensions to set. And you can use them in a much taller thing. So you can do layouts with them too, kind of like how you would use a more modern or a height gauge now, which actually reads directly. But this, I think, for ultimate accuracy, if you're setting this off of your shop standards of gauge blocks or whatever, I think you'd probably be even more accurate than this. Now, you know, we could go on and on about this, but there's a limit to how close you need a scribe line, right? And you know, the tip makes a big difference, and anyway, there's all kinds of stuff going on there. So anyway, that's kind of the basics of a planar gauge. If you guys want to know more, maybe we'll do some more in-depth demonstrations if you want to see more of that. So let me know in the comments. Okay, so we're gonna just flip through this book real quick. This is this machine tool technology. You know, it's some kind of student text or whatever. Anyway, I bookmarked a few things here that I thought are kind of cool. First one is this big Cincinnati horizontal mill here. Check that guy out. So that's a honker there. I don't know how big that one is. There's a picture in a little farther along, but you get an idea of scale here. That's probably a 15 or 20 horsepower machine easily, maybe even more, I don't know, but heavy duty mill there. Let's keep going here. I'm gonna buzz through this. Oh, so okay, Johnny Safety here says, and you know, somebody asked me about this recently here about the proper direction with a crescent wrench. So maybe they saw me using it the wrong way or whatever. I don't know. And so that's the right way. That's the wrong way. Okay. So, but you know what? You don't always get a choice at the nut. So I would say that is, you know, use a grain of salt with that rule. You know, these are pretty well made, so they should be able to take that anyway. Okay. Oh, next one, you know, we were talking about planar gauges. Okay. So here's some, so this is a master planar gauge here, and it's got the little scribing accessories and the fine adjust here. Okay. So that's a Starrett. This one here is, I don't know who makes this one, but this is a basic one. You can set a height with it. Okay, there it is, being used to set a single point tool. Okay, you can set it with a micrometer, and it behaves kind of like an adjustable parallel. So anyway, there's some more planar gauge action, which is always fun to look at. So you know, we were talking about the Brown and Sharp worm thread. So there's your regular Acme, and you can see the depth there. And then there's the Brown and Sharp worm, and you can see the depth there. You know, it's roughly twice as deep. And that's the regular Acme screw or Acme thread gauge there. So that's that. Oh, this happens to be my exact drill press that I have here, so I just flagged that. I thought that was kind of cool. It's even got the power feed unit on it, which is kind of an optional thing. All right. Oh, all right. Somebody else is giving me crap about this, about filing, you know, with the left hand over the top of the lathe. So, you know, if you can do it safely, go ahead and do it. That's what I say. And it's what you're comfortable doing. If you're uncomfortable, you're unsafe. Okay. So for me, filing opposite this is uncomfortable. So I would say that I am less safe doing that. But here's an example. You know, you see it both ways in books, right? All right, so enough said. Let's keep going here. I don't know. Oh, yeah, this one here. Look at this one. So this is for Gary Storick. Look at those chips coming off of that planer there, or excuse me, shaper. Look at the depth of cut. It's probably 1.5 inches, something like that, looking at it. Thickness-wise, it's hard to tell how thick those are, but look at that chip that thing's peeling off there. That's pretty cool. And let's see, what's the last thing I got here? Oh, all right, this was, somebody wrote in this book. I didn't write this in this book. I just ran into this, and somebody wrote clown, and they drew little safety glasses on them here, and I think that's a little fan. Well, the reason is this is a cyanide bath here, so probably not a bad idea to have safety glasses and a fan. So I think I agree with that guy's a clown. So he's probably dead. You know, I wouldn't want to be leaning over the top of that, sniffing anything coming out of that. So anyway, that's this book here. There's the title page. You guys can check that out. Anyway, kind of a neat book. Okay, so this next set of items comes to us from Switch and Lever. This is Daniel Jensen, and he's in Sweden. And Daniel's got a channel. It's called Switch and Lever, and he does a wide variety of projects on there. Some kind of interesting stuff. So if you haven't subscribed to Switch and Lever, go check him out. Daniel's a cool cat, and he does some real interesting stuff here. So we're gonna pop through this. We'll save that kind of for last. First off is a cool little leather-bound notebook, and who doesn't need a little pocket notebook? And it looks like he hand-stitched this thing here and made it himself. I don't think he would buy this and send it to me. I think he would make this, because that's the kind of guy he is. So, excuse me. Thank you, Daniel. That's good. Okay, and then the next one here is. At first, I thought these were SKF bearings, and but it turns out that these are little threading dies, and I had no idea that SKF made little threading dies, which is kind of cool. And this is from Sweden. It's 1/2 inch, probably 1/13. I imagine it probably hasn't seen a lot of use. It hasn't seen a lot of use in Sweden. You know, them being all metric. So anyway, let's see if we can. Oh yeah, it feels pretty sharp in there. So anyway, it's a little threading die, and this is the same thing here. But this one here says C.E. Johansson, which is the guy that made the first gauge blocks. Anyway, let's see. Get this out of here. I don't want to shred the box. Well, anyway, it's another little threading die in there, and it looks like it's a number 10, 3/16. But the box is cool because it says Johansson on it, so that's kind of neat. So thanks, Daniel. Then a little key fob, which is kind of nice. And so I think Daniel's playing around with some leather work here. Now, I don't know if he cut this on the laser. He might have cut this on the laser because he's got a laser cutter. But this looks like some hand stitching there. So, and then he branded this too. So, all right. So the next one is really kind of the cool one here. So what we have here is we have a box, and now this is a box joint. This is called a box joint for a good reason, and this is laser cut here, and it looks like he laser cut the little Ox logo in there, which is pretty cool. And but it gets even better when we open this up, and it's got a little magnetic catch there, and you can see the box is all put together pretty nice there from the laser cutting. When we open this up, inside it's what looks like a hammerhead, and it's like, oh, hey, hammerhead, that's pretty cool. Let's pop that out of there. But what it is it's a rubber stamp. Let's get a little piece of wood in there or something. Let's see if we can pick that out of there. anyway, it's a little rubber stamp that he made with the logo. And then he's been practicing his silver soldering, and so he silver soldered a plate to this hammerhead. So that's what this is about. Let's give it a try here. See if this thing's got some ink on it. Yeah, it looks like it. And then we'll stamp a page there. How fitting, is a cool. I like it. So anyway, this will probably get used on the boxes going out now. So if you see that on a box that you guys get, then you know where it came from. Daniel, that's very nice. Your gifts are always so thoughtful and well made, and they are truly appreciated. Thank you so much. That's very thoughtful. You guys know how much I like hammers, and there's a little logo and everything. And nice job. Thank you. Put that away. Okay, so this this next one comes to us from one of my viewers, Little Gopher, or IL Gopher, otherwise known as Ryan Wisala. And Ryan sent me a little package of goodies here that are pretty interesting, and we'll kind of go through them. The first that I wanted to show you guys was this calendar. Now, I think he makes these calendars, or has them made up, and these may be pictures out of his shop. He wasn't specific about it, so I'm just assuming that these are pictures from his shop. Anyway, they're nice tight close-ups of some cool machining operations there. A little chip coming off there, and let's see if I can flip through. I'll just kind of blaze through them there. All right, February. That's neat. Nice, good close-ups. Adam's got a picture on his wall that he took with his iPhone that's kind of like this. Pretty nice. That's kind of a neat picture there. Smoke curls coming off. So here's another guy that uses an edge finder to find the center of a round stock instead of an indicator. It works if that's what you like. Anyway, that's one method of doing that. Counter boring looks like. Oh, grinding his jaws, tuning up his jaws. And the classic pile of big, thick blue chips. That's kind of a nice shot. I like that one, indicating the face of this gear. Drilling operation and boring or something. Anyway, Ryan, thank you very much. So this is funny, actually. This makes it all worth it right here. Anyway, Ryan, I appreciate the calendar. That's really nice, and we'll hang that up in the shop somewhere. So, okay. So the next item here from Ryan is this little indicator head, which is interesting. I don't quite know what it was on. It's a little brown and sharp. It doesn't have a ratchet thimble or a friction thimble or anything like that. So these are designed to go through a hole and mount and then do something on the other end. So it may have been connected to a small stage or who knows what. Now this one here, if we'll take it all the way out, it's got a 1/2 inch of travel. Let's pop it out. But the spindle has been ground down from its nominal diameter, and then it has these little notches in it. So its use is unknown, but it's a cool little micrometer head, and sometimes these work good for little precision adjusting fixtures or things like that. I have a little box full of these that I use for different gauges and fixtures if I have to make something that needs a precision linear adjustment. Anyway, Ryan, thank you very much. That's pretty cool. And then the last thing is this this old book here, and this is a pretty old book. Let's see if I'm going the right direction here. And I gotta make sure. Okay, so I'm gonna flip it so you guys can see it here. And this one is, I believe, 1873 here, and Engineers and Mechanics Pocketbook. And I just love this leather cover and protector here, which is probably one of the reasons it's still in pretty good shape here. And it's got gold leaf on the edge. And for those that don't know why they did that, it's to keep dirt and dust out of the pages. They gold leaf the edge, and then they separate them, and then they go back together so tightly that dust can't get in there. So that's the reason for that. Anyway, it's a bunch of tables and engineering information for many different subjects. It's kind of a general engineering text. And per usual, I kind of flipped through it, and I found a couple things that I thought were kind of interesting or funny or whatever. It says friction in pipes and sewers. So it just kind of brought a picture to my mind, pipe friction, right? And they talk about wood pipes here, where they used to make pipes out of wood. Either hollowed out logs or sectional like a barrel. So anyway, they made pipes out of wood. But anyway, friction in pipes and sewers. So can't have any of that. And then the other one here. Let's see. I don't remember what this one is here. Oh yeah, this one's kind of cool here. This is animal strength. Okay, and then it's actually talking about humans, right? And what kind of work you can expect out of a human or other animal. It has horses and what else? I don't know, donkeys and goats or whatever. I'm not sure. But anyway, this one, it's got men, and I can't read it upside down, so I got to flip it around. And okay, so see if you guys can do this, right? So this is the strength of a man here is raising 70 pounds 1 foot high in 1 second for 10 hours a day. Okay, so that's the output for a man. Okay, and my back hurts just thinking about that. So back in 1873, I guess they built them tougher than they do today. So 70 pounds, 1 foot in 1 second for 10 hours a day, the equivalent of that. So that means you can move a lighter weight faster or for longer or whatever, right? But that converts to some output, which is probably significantly more than most of us put out these days. So anyway, Ryan, thank you very much. It's a very cool book. I love this kind of stuff, and flipping through it, we think we're so smart these days, right? But a lot of these guys, they figured all this stuff out a long, long time ago. So anyway, thanks for the nice gifts. I really appreciate it. Okay, so this is the thing that John over at New York City NYC CNC and Jim, I can't remember his last name, Herbivore, I think is his handle. Anyway, this is this little fold-down mill stop that I use. And this was actually, I've seen stuff like this before, but I never played around with it. And Chris Stevens over in the UK kind of prodded me to try one out. So I finally got around to it and did. And I'm actually really happy with it. That I went ahead and did it. So what I do with this thing is I can fold it into this area here, and it'll stop a parallel, and it's also sturdy enough for a part stop. Although I don't have it projecting out real far. And you know, typically you only need this little corner here. Excuse me. But what I do is I leave the digital readout, the absolute coordinate set for the back of the jaw and this surface here. And I just try to leave this stop set at that, you know, at all times. And then if I need a local center, I can use the incremental, so I can, you know, basically store two datum positions, basically. So this is just a piece of ground stock here. I think this is 4142, some ground stock that I had around. And this is a 1032 stud that's tapped into this rear vice mount, or the jaw mount. And this isn't super hard back here. This is hard, but this is not. And so I ran the stud in and bottomed it out pretty good, and then used a nylon lock nut so that the thing doesn't come unscrewed. And then I have a couple of fiber washers under there, or brass washers, probably fiber washer. I think this side doesn't have a washer, and then this side does. And then I just adjust that tension until it's nice and stiff, and I don't get any wiggle on this thing. And the hole fits the stud real well there too. So anyway, I just fold it out of the way when I'm not using it, and then boom, if I want to drill some coordinates or something real quick, I can throw that down, reset the DRO to absolute, bang, oh, I got to stop, I'm off and running. So yes, it saves time, and so I recommend it. And you know, the only expense is drilling and tapping a hole in this, which I think I did by hand on this one because I didn't even bother taking this off. And you need enough contact surface on this. And the other thing is your jaw. You see there's a little space there. This jaw can't hang over that, or else you're going to have trouble there too. Anyway, it's a nice little addition, and that's how it works, and it stays out of the way. And you know, I don't have to use the little clamp on one. In fact, I haven't used it very much since I put that on there. Now I do use the big stop that goes in the T-slots, but not so much anymore. Or, well, the little clamp on I don't use much anymore. Anyway, John and Jim, that's the little stop. Thanks for looking. Okay, so here's this cast item from Chuck Van Atta, and I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see he's potted some pretty blue chips in there in resin. So he's fiddling around with some ideas with that, and anyway, so that's a little gift from Chuck, and then the the beef jerky, which I'm mowing down here. So okay, all right.